Aaron Rimmer here for Kinesiology, Motor Learning, and Control at LCSC. What we're going to do is the 4 things I think is needed for soccer, for those that were grade, around 3rd grade, so around 8 years old. What you need is a soccer ball. You may not need a soccer ball for the first techniques, but after a little while you will need a soccer ball. So most likely a soccer ball. You want to make sure they have room because the ball can go all over the place, and we're working on techniques, we're not focusing on where the ball will go. There's still most likely the ball to go over it. There are some things that you won't need the ball for at first, and some things that you probably will need the ball. I would tell you he'll shortly. But you want to make sure you have most room. Hopefully by then they will understand the techniques for throwing, passing, shooting, and dribbling. The 4 things that are needed for the game of soccer. Here we're going to go. The throwing. It happens when the ball crosses over the line on the sidelines. The opposing team would be the one throwing in. To make an illegal throw-in, your feet must be on the ground at all times. It's alright if one foot, part of the foot actually comes up. Each part of your foot is touching the ground. The other thing is the ball must cross over your head all the way and then straight forward. It's alright if you lean a little bit. If you want to angle your shot like this, you just twist at the base. For the younger group, which we are teaching, a lot of times they have a habit of lifting up the back foot. To solve this problem, have them go to the line, cross one of the legs over the other. It doesn't matter which leg it is, just have them do one. That would help prevent them from lifting up the back part of the feet and causing one of the legs to come up. Now the throw-in is a pretty simple thing to do. All you want to do is cross your legs, ball come behind the head, and then it must go over the head, your arms being straight forward. You can have them practice this without using a ball. Just have them step to the line and go. And go again and go. You can also have them practice against the wall if it's just one of them. Most likely you have more than just one, so you can have them face each other and have them throw at each other's feet. It's best not to use the ball so they don't have to worry about where this ball is going, where it's not, to get the formation right. After you got the technique right and the formation needed, it is good to have them line up with 2 people so they're not chasing the ball. I don't have a second person, so I have a wall. So all you have to do is cross one of the feet over the other, like so. And then the ball must go behind your head. All the way behind your head, or it doesn't count. You go behind your head, then throw. And because of the wall, the ball comes back to me, and that's time basis throwing in. That concludes the throw-in. Now that we got the throwing under control, we're going to move on to passing. Passing is the most commonly used task or skill in the game of soccer. A team that can execute good passing, and a lot of it, will automatically probably dominate the game. Keys to passing is pretty simple. You probably want to try this technique for the younger kids without using the ball at first, so they're not worried about where the ball is going, all this. If the ball hits a bump, they may think they're doing it wrong. So it's better not to use the ball, to focus on the technique and to make sure that they understand that they are doing it right. So instead of using the ball, we're going to put it to the side. What you want to do is have a little mark in the ground so they can pretend the ball is there. Now there are a few things you want to do to have good technique. One of them is the foot planted. This could be either foot, it doesn't have to be the left. Most people are right, so most commonly the left foot is going to be the planted one. But even if they are right-footed, you want to make sure you do both feet. So you got the right foot and you got the left foot. Planted foot is going to be about a foot length away from the ball. The younger kids don't have small feet, so you want to do about a foot, 12 inches away from the ball. Then you want a good stance. Now, most of the time the passing would be when the ball is moving or they're moving. But to focus on the technique, you want to make sure they're standing still so they understand the technique. So, foot planted, the other foot. You want them to be around there. Lunging too far back can cause bad technique when coming forward, because you can shift your body, making your own balance, which will cause the ball to go in the direction you don't want. Too close is not too bad of a thing, but there's not too much room to move, so you won't get as much power. And you may just, as soon as you hit it, may stop. So it's best to get this technique. This is the good spot. So you want the foot planted. Passing, for the younger kids, they're going to use the inside of the foot. What you want is right there in the middle. Using the heel can cause the ball to kind of shoot off in different directions. Using the toe can cause the ball to go up in the air, or kind of just bounce around, and you won't get as much power. The best spot is the inside of the foot. You want to make sure when you come, you swing and keep that foot and your body straight. You also want to make sure the planted foot is kind of pointed straight. Having caused this can just make your body go all over the place. So a good foot right there can cause the body to move in the direction you want to. So you want to have that good step. You want to come inside the foot, make contact with the ball. When you're making contact with the ball, you don't want to go too high or too low. You want to kind of about a quarter way up from the ball. So you got the foot planted. You're going to come in, hit it about a quarter way, keeping your body forward, straight, foot straight. And you want to make sure you follow through. Following through will help the ball go in the direction you want. That's include the techniques. There could be different factors. So it might be a little bit wet, moist, something about that. So you want to make sure they have it. Using your equipment as cleats, because that's the equipment you're going to be using during the game, would be ideal for this practice. I'm using my shoes just to show the technique. But for the younger kids, you want to make sure they practice in their cleat and have some room. Now, I don't have some students with me, but to do good passing, it's good to have them get the technique, but then have them pass with each other. Doing 1 touches, 2 touches, 3 touches. Well, that means 1 touch would mean as soon as the ball comes to them, instead of stopping it, they're just going to pass it on that contact. 2 touch mean they can touch it 1 time and pass it. 3 touch mean they can kind of touch it and move it, then pass. I instead have a wall. This is good practice for them to do maybe at home if there's a place besides their house where they can kick it against. Because parents don't really like them kicking in the house or against the house. Trust me from experience. So I have this wall in front of me that will help the ball come back to me, so I'm not focusing on how far I can get it or chasing the ball down or this. I'm just going to have the ball come back. So here we go. Remember, foot tent, about a foot away. A little bit beyond shoulder width apart. Good stance. Foot straight, coming in, quarter way up, follow through. You may have them practice this a few times. So imaginary ball, foot plant, good stance, foot straight, quarter way up, follow through. Again, foot plant, good stance, good body stance, good foot, come quarter way up, follow through. And again, just have them practice that. Have them show it to you, watch from different angles so they can see if your body twists in you, maybe if they're dropping a little, that. Then make sure they have it do from the other side. And if they're right-footed, they will use their left foot a lot. So here we go. You got 10 foot, about a quarter away. About a foot away, my bad. And then have the body straight, good stance, and then come, follow through. And because of the wall, it comes right back to me. And I'm not worried about chasing the ball, I'm worried about technique. Come back, and then you can do 1 touch, which is that. 2 touch, you can kind of move it. Make sure they use that. 3 touch, you kind of like that. And that concludes passing. Make sure they understand these passing. Make sure they're doing everything right. Make sure they have a good stance, because this is one key in the game of soccer that will help your team. Then next is dribbling. Sometimes you don't have to pass. Sometimes you can't pass. Dribbling will help you move the ball without passing. Passing is still key. Dribbling. It's good to have them practice with the ball, because you can't really have too good technique without the ball. You can have them practice a little bit hops, but they won't fully understand without the ball. And make sure they have their cleats and lots of room to move around when it comes to dribbling. But you do want to make sure sometimes there's some things in the way that they have to turn to create the environment that they're probably playing in. Because when it comes time to play, they're not going to have all this open room. There are going to be other players wanting that ball. So I got the ball. One good practice is just back and forth between the feet, like this. You want to make sure that they don't hit it too far back behind the foot, or they're going to go backwards. Make sure they don't have it too far out in front of them, because that can make the ball easy to steal. A good dribbler can move the ball within seconds, won't have it too far in front of him, so he controls the ball, and that would cause the defense to have a harder time getting that ball back. So a good technique is just making sure they're using the inside of the foot just the same as passing. You can have them shoot out a little bit in front of them, and then you can maybe have them try a little bit back. They won't be as good, so you got to be patient. Just understand that they're all younger. And the next drill you can do is for a team. Have one ball, two players. Have them line up. Most of the time you have them line up on the sidelines. You have, because they're a little bit younger of a group, you want to make sure they're not lined too far out, because then they'll be worried about getting it to the other player, and that would just cause the ball to go out of hand. Then they're not focusing on passing, they're focusing on power, which this is about passing, good technique, good passing, good dribbling. This skill combines passing and dribbling. Just have them pass it. Take like 3 touches, dribbling it, then pass to the other teammate. He would do the same, pass it back, pass it back, pass it back. Have them switch directions, go to the right, go to the left, reverse it. This will help them get more control of the ball in different environments with defenders. That includes passing. Now when it comes time, when they got the ball, and it comes time to shooting, this one is key. For the younger group, shooting is probably best using the inside of the foot, just like passing. Passing and shooting is basically the same thing. Instead of passing to another player, you're just passing it behind the goalie to make a goal. Passing, I'm shooting, my bad, son. Shooting. There's 2 or 3, I guess you can say, if you use the inside. But there are 2 toe ones. You want to make sure they don't kick it with the point of the toe. This has no control over the point of the toe. You don't know where the ball is going to go. You probably get lucky a lot and have it go the direction you want, make it go, but it's not what you want on the ball. Hitting with the toe is very dangerous too. It could actually break the toe. But for the young group, they may not get enough power, but still they're a little bit younger, so they probably would hurt and they probably be injured and they would fall down. So the best practice is not to use the toe whatsoever. It's just you don't want to use it, don't want to practice with it. You want to stop them if they're using the top of the toe. What you want to do, instead of using the tip of the toe, or the top of the toe, you want to use the tongue of the shoe. It's more of the heel than the toes. There's 2 different types. There's the up high and the down low. You want to focus on the down low, because as younger kids and they don't really understand the controls and the body movements of up or high. Down low, you're going to have the same foot planting as passing. You want it about foot length, toe straight, to help your body keep straight, to help the ball go straight. You want good stance. Instead of coming in with the inside, you're going to come in, and you want to make sure for the low pass, you have your shoulder over the ball. This is causing your body to focus down low to keep the ball down low. So good plant. And again, for the for good technique, make sure they don't do it with the ball at first. So have that imaginary little ball right there. Good plant, good stance. Come in, shoulder over. They coming in, toe pointed. You don't want to have the dragging. This causes the foot to go up and down, up and down. Good contact is about there, so it's contacting basically the middle of the ball without the toes hitting the ground. Some kids may have longer